Sure.
Okay, so we're sitting here in Cyber Lounge today, thinking about ways that we can discuss topics on digital literacy and why we might be able to use virtual worlds to help people understand digital literacy. And I'm with Elise, another colleague librarian. We're thinking about simplifying the term and what ways could we discuss digital literacy without it sounding so academic, Elise?
Yeah, that's a really great question. And I know we've got some suggestions from folks like Selby, where we're so used to in the library realm of talking about literacy and information literacy that to us we think, oh yeah, that's a term that everyone knows. But it's really not. And the more that we work with other both academics and laypersons, we discover that that's really not a very common term to anyone else but in the library world. And so yeah, some of the ideas that we've had brainstorming are perhaps digital smarts. I know that that's one. I think that it's something that we definitely can do some research into as well on how it's being discussed in perhaps other circles like the K through 12. And that's something that I think we'll be able to talk with Marie about, I think, because I know she's done some research on digital literacy on the youth side. But digital smarts is a really good one, just kind of getting people to understand that um, you don't have to think of it in an academic sense. You can think of it in a kind of street sense. You can think of it as um, simply knowing how to do things online and knowing the etiquette and that sort of thing. That's all that literacy is just understanding how to do it. And so that digital street smarts is one way that we're trying to look at it. And then perhaps in the long term, rather than just digital smarts, um, maybe something like digital street smarts for the virtual highway or something like that um, might be a little bit better of a way to get people to understand what we're talking about without it being super jargony. Um, really starting to talk about the digital highway and just comparing it to other more common terms that people know. So, yeah, I would say digital smarts is the current way that we're looking at it, and then perhaps we'll pursue other terms in the future.
All right, sitting here with Elise talking about virtual world librarianship and digital smarts, I'd like to ask, so what are a couple of topics that you would talk about that relate to digital literacy or how to be smart on the virtual highway?
Well, one of the biggest topics around digital smarts and kind of knowing yourself on the internet would be your online identity, how you're represented online and in the digital world in general. And a huge topic that goes along with that would be privacy. And so for online identity, it would be something as simple as perhaps your avatar in a virtual world, or it could be perhaps you have yourself on a blog, you've got some maybe branding going on, you have maybe pictures of yourself or your avatar, even on Facebook, that sort of thing. So along with that goes privacy, and privacy can mean things like your personal identification details, so your address, your social security number, your credit card number, your full name, things like that can go under privacy. But so can anything that you've written online. Again, if you have a blog or a Facebook account, anything like that where you have information about yourself that is shared, be it again those personally identifying details or perhaps something about your life that you're writing about or your interests that you're writing about. And so on that topic, there is a resource that San Jose Public Library created. It's an online resource all about taking control of your privacy because it's one of the more intimidating topics for people who are trying to understand who they are online, what their digital footprint might look like. Um, and it's very scary because there's so many different places that we enter our information into, and we don't always know what's happening with that information. And that could be even be typing your information into a search engine or anything, any kind of queries that you might have. So there is a tool called the Privacy Lab. And again, it's online, sjpl.org. And that's something I'm sure Selby could include on his blog, the link to go with this interview. But it coaches people. It was designed as part of a project with San Jose University, San Jose State University. And it's a gamification concept where they've taken several different elements of privacy and how to maintain it, and they've turned it into different modules that anyone can go through. You don't have to live in San Jose or be a member of the San Jose Public Library to do this. This is supposed to be relevant for everyone. And so it has a lot of different modules that talk about specifics of privacy.
Excellent. These are important topics that we will be able to discuss more as we do our interviews here in Cyber Lounge.